Is hereby called to order. My name is Eric Hopkins, and I am the chairman of the committee. Do notice the meeting has been given, and the open meeting law requirements have been met. Other committee members present tonight include Supervisor Mayor Patowski, Rossi, Horov, Kolb, and Wishaw. County staff present tonight is Raleigh Beam and Kim Parsons. No use in governance. Does not appear to be. All right. Please do not speak unless you are recognized by the chair. Also, please silence your cell phones. This meeting is being recorded. Thank you. We will now begin the meeting. All right. So I would assume we did the call to order and the roll call, right? Review possible action on religion authorizing the participation in the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources WDNR Municipal Grant Program. This is requested for first reading at our today's February 10th, 2026 board meeting.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is a grant that we were notified about just a few weeks ago, and that's why we're here actually today. The deadline for this grant is at the end of February, so we're trying to get both first reading tonight and then have a second reading in the following 2 weeks from now, basically. And this is a grant where it's up to a 50%, and we have this in the budget. This one right now is repairs to the Rochester Dam. We have allocated $750,000. This grant goes up to the first $1 million of 50% funding back to it. And so that's why we didn't want to miss out on this one. I think we're a pretty good candidate for it. This is through the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. And so it's one of those things that if we can get it, we can show, I guess, the need for it, and the need for the repairs to the dam, and then I get the prioritized compared to other dams we would be selected for this dam. I think we have a real good shot at getting this, so that's why we decided to bring this up.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Question.
Yes.
What is the total cost?
The total cost of the project, what we have allocated for this is $750,000 inside the budget. I actually think it's going to be higher than that now that so basically when we put that was a very arbitrary number that we put inside the budget. We were waiting for that inspection to get done. Sometimes the process of getting those inspections can be rather slow when you're waiting for that to get it completed. When that inspection got completed, they showed a lot more, I guess, distress to that dam that was happening to it. And so with that, I think it's going to be probably closer to $1 million for that. If it does end up getting that, this grant would certainly help. If we don't get that grant, we would probably push that project into a further budget year and ask for the remaining money in 2027 budget is what we would do.
Raleigh, if you could, Mr. Chairman, may I?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. What was the number that was put into the budget, and what line on the budget? Was it a capital expense or was it an?
It was a capital expense towards the end of the book, and I guess it would be under highway is what that would be under, and it was $750,000.
That's what you put into the budget.
That's what we put into the budget.
And our grant opportunity on this could be up to how much?
Up to $1 million, 50%, up to $1 million, then 25% additional up to $2 million, additional
Okay.
25% of that.
And what was the estimated cost initially for the repairs to the dam?
$750,000. That's what staff did.
My apologies. You think it's going to be higher now?
I think it's going to be higher. I think it's going to be closer to the $1 million mark. Once we got that inspection completed, and all of a sudden we started seeing some of that distress, so the concrete, the gates, the spillways, there's a lot that needs to be addressed to that dam.
So if you have a 750,000 in the budget and the potential cost could go up to $1 million, but
Correct.
we have the opportunity to get a grant that could go up to $1 million,
Correct.
then we wouldn't have to pay anything?
No, it'd be 50% up to $1 million. So then if it was $1 million, we'd be paying $500,000. They would reimburse us $500,000.
They would reimburse us. You have a $750,000 budget. So that would mean actually we would be favorable on this.
Correct.
Instead, in other words, it costs us 250,000 is what it would be.
Correct.
Using those initial numbers.
It would still cost us $500,000. We would have $250,000 in excess of our capital.
Left out. Thank you.
Correct.
You're right. My math went the wrong way. Correct. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Yes.
Is there any other, because you're talking a 50% match, is there anything else in the dam that could be done at the same time to maybe that we could actually take advantage of the grant? If we do get it, that, you know, is there any other repairs that are like kind of coming down the road that we could do right now and get included in this grant?
I anticipate probably only what was inside their inspection report of what was in distress and needed to be repaired. I don't envision anything cosmetic would be included inside that. But I would envision just what was addressed, what they put inside the report.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve as submitted and discussed.
All right, so it's a motion, it's been seconded. Any other comment or discussions on questions on this current resolution? Yes, Rossi.
Thank you, Chair. Just more so a point of order. Is this supposed to be sent for reading tonight?
First reading.
First reading tonight? Does this
Yeah.
need first and second?
It does need first and second.
All right. Just want to make it clear that we're.
It does not. I'm sorry, Michael.
My understanding is that we need the final authorization by the end of February. And
Correct.
we'll go for first reading this evening, second reading on the 24th.
Okay.
I apologize. I thought you were asking if it also needed a second
Oh,
reading
I meant
separately.
tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm not looking to belabor this. I'm going to go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, aye. Any opposed? Awesome. Motion passes. Review, discussion, and possible action on the resolution directing the repair of an at-grade crossing with County Trunk Highway CTHK and the Canadian Pacific and Kansas Pacific CPKC Railroad. This request for a reading at the county board meeting on Tuesday, which is today, February 10th, 2026, for a first reading.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually, these next three are going to be very similar. These are all at-grade railroad crossings. This particular one is at Highway K. They are operated and maintained by the railroad companies, the railroad tracks themselves and the right-of-way on each side of them. We were speaking with the commissioner of the railroad, and one of the things that they were telling us, if we were to write a resolution, pass it through the county board, they would have to adhere to our resolution and go fix the tracks. So that's why we have all three of these. The next two, this one and the next two, both of the other two are on County Trunk Highway C, presenting to you in hopes to get these resolutions passed. And so obviously the railroad would come out there and fix the tracks to their, hopefully our standards and their standards.
All right, can I get a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I just got a question.
Sure.
Is this the tracks further to the east or to the west?
This track is going to be to the west of Howell Road is what it's looking like.
So this is the one that Amtrak runs up and down?
Through Franksville, yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, are we able to go ahead and just vote on all three as one motion? Or do
See,
they?
I'm not, I want to make sure that I'm not being a little.
I think if you properly read all three of them, can you make one motion then?
That's what I was anticipating, actually.
Okay, that's great, because just don't want to overstep. So I'll go ahead with read the rest of these. Number 4, review discuss possible action on the resolution directing resolution repair of the at-grade crossing with County Trunk Highway CTHC and the Canadian Pacific Kansas City CPKC Railroad, requesting this also a first reading of the county board Tuesday, which is today, February 2026. And last one, review, discussion of possible action on the resolution directing repair of the at-grade crossing with County Trunk Highway C in the Union Pacific Railroad, requesting again first reading for today, county board meeting. Any discussions, or I'll.
Mr. Chair, I would make the motion that we go ahead and approve as read and submitted items on the agenda number 3, 4, and 5.
Mr. Chair, Corporation Council has the light on.
Corbett.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to call out one point. So each of these resolutions, my understanding, are template resolutions that were shared from the railway commissioner. It calls for the Director of Public Works, if and upon authorization, to serve a copy of this upon the railway or the railroad company. The statute actually calls for that to be served by the county clerk. So I would just recommend, we needn't change language to the resolution, but Raleigh, I would just request that if and upon authorization, that a copy also be provided to the clerk's office, just so that we can check those necessary boxes of the statute.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. So with that being said, I would like, make a motion. Would I like to make a motion?
Motion. We need a second. I did.
Okay,
make the
can I get a
motion.
second?
Thank you.
All right. Any other discussions or questions on these resolutions? All right, that's what I like. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Motion passes. Last thing, miscellaneous business. Our next meeting, what looks to be committee is Thursday, March 12th, 2026, if warranted. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Racine County Board meeting for Tuesday, February 10th, 2026 at 6:30. My name is Scott Meyer. I am going to run the meeting tonight and share for Chairman Kramer. And first thing we'll ask the clerk to note the roll, please.
Supervisors Kelly and Wish are excused, and possibly Supervisor Trottier. Supervisor Spencer and Kramer are planning to attend virtually. Supervisor Spencer, I see, is already on. So we will watch for them to come in, and everyone else is in the chambers.
All right, welcome everyone here, and welcome everybody online as well. As customary to this body, we start with an opening prayer, and tonight will be led by Supervisor Cole.
Lord, help us as we walk through this week. Let us seek your guidance and strength. Bless our days with wisdom and make sound decisions, courage and face challenges, and compassion to uplift others. Fill our hearts with peace amidst uncertainty and gratitude for all we have. Amen.
Okay, item number 4 is public comment. I don't see anybody in the audience that wishes to speak. I have nobody signed up to speak. Wendy, have we heard anything from anybody online?
No, we haven't.
Any other public comments? All right, we'll move along. Item number 5 is a capital project status update on Reef Point Marina revitalization. And we have Carrie here to bring us up to date. Welcome, Carrie. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I do have a PowerPoint presentation put together that I'll run through briefly. Perfect. So the status update is through truly this month. If I had a clicker, I'd click through slides, but I will be perfect. So the $32.5 million project was approved, and we were well underway with our GC, who was contracted by Racine County, McMullen and Pitts. He did go ahead and proceed with his subcontractors, which was Ahern's as well as Pieper Electric. And then Edgewater Resources is the contracted engineer, and F3 Marina is the project manager. We are currently on budget. We'll start with that because it's great, right? With the tariffs and everything else looming over, obviously steel pricing and material pricing in general, we are on budget, and we just are a slight delay due to phase 1 having to be rebid out to make sure that we are within budget. So with the slight delay, we're still proceeding accordingly, and there's no financial impact with that delay. So I'm not sure if any of you have been down to the marina recently, but pilings are being pounded. It's the sweet sound of progress, which is great. So phase 1, our current focus as of right now, is going to be just the remaining demo of the on-side main concrete pier, which are going to be all the curbs, all of the light fixtures, all of the cleats, and anything that is impeding the new items necessary for the new dock system, as well as the pilings for the fuel dock house. The new fuel dock will be on the northeast corner of the harbor, so we do need a full piling structure in place for that, which these pilings are substantial. These are 18-inch pilings, 55 feet long, and they're actually adding 10 feet on top of that as well. So these pilings are 65 feet long and 18 inches in diameter. So we are moving forward then with the fuel dock foundation as well as the structure. And then we'll be moving forward with the gangways and the landing of the structure for those. So I have a couple videos here, and these were the amazing videos of the first piling being pounded, the test piling per se. So the first one on the left is a vibratory tool, which they use initially. Sound is pleasant. And then the second one, they do have to use an impact hammer for the final 5-10 feet to make sure that's embedded properly into the dense soil. So people are very excited. I know it seems like a annoying, cumbersome sound, but truly it is the sound of progress. And it is drawing a ton of attention down to the area, which is not only great for the public to be excited about the project and for the restaurant patrons to be able to enjoy a glass of beer from the second floor of the brew house. Truly, it's showing that progress is being made and people are very excited about it. So progress to date. The general contractor, McMullen and Pitts, has mobilized their equipment mid-December as soon as their contract was awarded. That included 3 barges, 2 cranes, and a tugboat. The demo already now is about 75% complete, and the northeast T-head of the main concrete pier has been completely demoed. This will allow the new fuel dock to be back about 20 feet to allow the big boats to come into the northwest corner of the harbor entranceway. So all pilings for phase 1 have been already delivered and currently are on site, and they're staged either in the east parking lot or on the barge itself. The new fuel dock piling foundation is about 80% complete as well. Permit and submittals are 80% complete. Phase 1 docks are 100% complete and at their factory in New York and are staged for delivery starting February 18th, next week. Then phase 1 slips, which are consisted mostly of 50, 55, and 60-foot slips, are already 90% pre-leased, which we never had that amount of large slips in our current setup of Reef Point Marina, which shows that we have a lot of new interest from Chicago, Kenosha, and Chicago, big boats coming to Reef Point Marina, and they're excited about the new dock system. This shows the key metrics. It just shows truly that we're between 70 to 80% complete with those key metrics, which includes the submittals, as well as the fuel dock, building foundation, and the waterside utility removal. This just reiterates the work streams, the waterside removal and demo. If you look at the picture on the left, it shows the main east concrete pier. All of the curbs are planned to be removed. They're removing the light fixtures are already gone. All of the cleats are gone. And truly the docks were removed last fall, but progress is really being made. The middle picture shows the large barge that's on the very northeast corner of the harbor that is staging all the equipment and really makes for a great working space over the ice. And then the far right picture shows all of the steel pilings piled up in the east parking lot. And it shows truly the magnitude, the 18-inch, and then the foundation bracing for that new field dock house is in the middle. So fuel building. The fuel building is really going to be a great asset for the new Reef Point Marina fuel dock itself. It's going to feature a small ship store out there. It's going to feature some seating around it, 80 accessible bathrooms. It'll feature the high-speed fuel pumps. Obviously, the foundation is needed for a structure that's currently not over water, and it's about a 900 square foot building. It will be accessible to the public at times, especially for the grand opening and special events that we're going to be inviting the public and onlookers and people interested in just checking it out to the fuel dock, because truly it's going to be a beautiful site. So next milestones for the fuel dock building itself, after the pilings are completely pounded in for the foundation, there's going to be a steel frame. So it's a steel floor that will be installed on top of the pilings, and then the building can start to be erected on top of that steel framework. So looking ahead for the schedule, this is just the short-term schedule. It shows that the fuel dock foundation will be complete this week. Next week, we're having the dock section start to be delivered strategically because space is very limited in the east parking lot. But to then promote time savings, we're actually inviting the subs to come to the property and start to mock up their installation on the docks. So it's better than working over water, so they can come in and start laying out their utilities. So Ahern and people will be on property and utilizing as much time as they're able to with weather allowing, to get their progress moving forward. So then we'll be working on the gangway landing pile foundations, which will then bring in obviously the docks themselves, which we'll be able to launch as soon as possible. Early March, then we're looking at having the field dock building steel installed, which is currently being fabricated, which will then allow us to erect the building. And then dock installation and coordination follow shortly after that because all the pilings will be complete. All the docks will be on property and most of the utilities ran. So then they'll be thrown in the water and utility hookups up the gangways. And phase 1 is hopefully set to be scheduled for completion late spring. So risk management, obviously there's always risks associated with construction. So the key ones just worth mentioning and how we're mitigating those are with our new relaxed schedule, which allowed us to stay within budget to make this project continue moving forward strategically. It's set for spring, even with cold weather days, then the schedule is not uprooted. So mid-January, we had below 0. The guys weren't working then, but truly they're working in anything over 10 degrees. And that's Monday through Friday from sunup till sundown. They're aggressively getting this project done. And then having subs on property starting next week will obviously help save time in running the utilities throughout the dock system. So we're just trying to plan everything as quickly as we can to get this project done so we can have as many boaters in that phase 1 slips as possible, as quick as possible. And then since boaters though cannot occupy their new slips, which like I said, 90% of them are leased up, we did assign those customers coming to the marina slips within the new dock system. We did have to get creative in certain ways because we are about 95% full already, but they're then going to have a space to go if they so choose to starting April 1st. And then as soon as we're able to get that phase 1 dock system ready and complete, we're going to invite them over. It's going to be a big deal. We're going to be welcoming them, helping them tie up and make it really an event. So they're excited. And then our current field dock obviously will be open and operational starting April 1st because the sheriff needs fuel, boaters need fuel. We truly are a destination for boaters to come to for our pump out system as well as field dock. So next steps. To complete the field dock building foundation, which is set for this week, docks to be delivered next week, and then starting installing of the gangway platforms and the pilings, and then preparing and completing the fuel dock house by late April, and then continue marketing the revitalization and pre-leasing all available slips. We truly want 100% occupancy in every available slip that we have, and we believe we can get there. We have a transient dock that's dedicated, so we're still going to have a lot of transient business because it's truly dedicated to hosting groups from other marinas and other areas. And completion of phase 1 is set for late spring with demo of phase 2 starting in fall. So we are on budget and on task. Questions?
Questions? Questions or comments? Supervisor Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very exciting, Carrie. Thank you so much. I would ask that maybe you forward the PowerPoint to the county clerk and then she can get it to the full board.
Perfect.
And I know you're always great at marketing, but I think when the new docks are open and you invite the people, I think that makes some great video for promotion.
Agreed 100%. Thank you.
Supervisor Horth?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That sounds kind of nice, Mr. Chairman. Gary, first and foremost, I wanted to say that I appreciate very much the work that you've put into this and the ability to present to this board a detailed update on exactly where everything stands. So from my perspective, I want to thank you for that and certainly keep the information coming. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to actually go so far as to say that something like this should become a standard for the major projects that we have, if we don't already have that in play, such as the behavioral health building coming up, the public safety building. These kinds of updates answer an awful lot of questions for us that frankly, we don't have to take time from meetings like this because we'll know in advance. So again, Carrie, all good. Thank you so much for how you presented it tonight and being detailed and thorough.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor. Corporate Counsel, Mr. Lanzor, for that little wait-in.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to note in response to that comment that at the next county board meeting on February 24th, we're anticipating the next of the quarterly updates for each of those three large capital projects, the 911 infrastructure, the behavioral health building, and the public safety building. There'll be updates similar to this at that next meeting.
Very good. Supervisor Rossi.
Thank you, Chair, and I'd like to continue the sentiments of Supervisor Horace. That is a very nice presentation you just gave. I would like to understand a little bit more when you say you're on budget, initial contract versus now, and then, does that include any contingency money that was utilized? And that's the difference between on budget and then creeping into contingency. I just wanted to understand if, for creeping into that.
Sure. So due to the tariffs and due to the electrical components coming in overpriced than what we anticipated, because nobody could really understand fully how much tariffs would affect these pricing, we did have to value engineer a few different components, which we did to maintain the contingency still in play that we do have throughout the entire project. We don't want to touch that until we absolutely have to and don't have a choice.
So none of the contingency has been used.
As of right now, no.
Wow, amazing. Thank you.
Knock on. Stays that way, correct. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, could I add one additional point?
Certainly.
In addition to that contingency remaining fully intact, there's the big infrastructure grant that has been discussed with the board previously, $1 to $1.5 million.
Yes, $1.5 million.
$1.5 million, something that we're very well positioned for. The board has authorized the application for that grant. We're anxiously awaiting word for that. We are not factoring in a penny of that anticipated award into that. So we're well positioned not only with the contingency remaining intact, but also that grant fund that we're expecting to hopefully get news on.
Thank you.
Hey, any other questions? Again, Carrie, thank you for the work that you guys do and
Thank you.
keeping us updated. And we look forward to the next update and on-site visit.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Thank
Thank
you very much. Thank you.
All right. Moving on to item number 6, reading of the minutes of the previous meeting, which is automatically waived unless requested by the majority of the members present. Seeing none. Item number 7, resolutions and ordinances referred to committees.
There are none.
Item number 8, introduction of resolutions and ordinances for first reading and referral.
Resolution number 2025-81 by Finance and Human Resources Committee authorizing the acceptance of a Wisconsin Department of Health Services grant in the amount of $142,744 and a transfer of funds within the Human Resources Department 2026 budget. Resolution number 2025-82 by Finance and Human Resources Committee denying the claim of Robert Robinson. Resolution number 2025-83 by Finance and Human Resources Committee denying the property damage claim of Michael Zorner. Resolution number 2025-84 by Finance and Human Resources Committee denying the property damage claim of Deontay Coney. And resolution number 2025-85 by individual supervisors requesting that the entire causeway leading to Racine County's Harbor Park adopt the name of Kippy Cowie Causeway.
I think resolution number 2025-85, we're going to move that and refer that to Public Works. Supervisor Hopkins. Your Public Works Committee met earlier this evening. And you have some things you'd like to move to County Board for first reading? We met earlier and so you're asking unanimous consent to bring forward these resolutions for time?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
For first reading only.
First reading only. Yes.
Any objections?
Okay, that would be resolution number 2025-86 by Public Works, Parks and Facilities Committee authorizing the participation in the Department of Natural Resources Municipal Dam Grant Program. Resolution number 2025-87 by Public Works, Parks and Facilities Committee directing the repair of an at-grade crossing with County Highway K and CPKC Railroad. Resolution number 2025-88 by Public Works, Parks and Facilities Committee directing the repair of an at-grade crossing with County Highway C and CPKC Railroad. And resolution number 2025-89 by Public Works, Parks and Facilities Committee directing the repair of an at-grade crossing with County Highway C and Union Pacific Railroad.
All right, thank you. Item number 9, communications and claims.
Number 1, Racine County Facilities Management Notable Project Status Report for the month of January 2026.
This is referred to the Public Works, Parks and Facilities Committee. And I'd like to thank the clerk because I believe she emailed this to the entire county board today.
We usually do the day that it's on our communications list.
Thank you.
Item number 2 is resolution requesting Wisconsin Counties Association lobby state legislation and governor on legislation for greater local control for Wisconsin counties from Marathon County.
Item 2 is referred to the Economic Development and Land Use Planning Committee.
Number 3, resolution supporting Wisconsin establishing a membership with the Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center, MS-ISAC, from Marinette County.
This item 3 is referred to the Finance and Human Resources Committee.
And then items number 4 and 5 are foreclosures of mortgage, and items number 6 through 29 are notifications from United States Bankruptcy Court.
Items 4 through 29 are referred to the Finance and Human Resources Committee and Corporation Council.
Request for copies. Supervisor Horth,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd request copies 1, 2, and 3, please.
any other requests? All right. Item number 10, communications from the county executive.
There are none on tonight's agenda.
Item number 11, standing committee reports containing recommendations on items referred.
There are no reports.
Item 12, second reading of resolution and ordinances.
We have ordinance under majority vote. We have ordinance number 2025-72 by individual supervisors amending the Racine County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 3, Meetings, Section 2-89, Recording, Streaming, and Retention of County Board and Committee Meetings, and Sections 2-90 to 2-100, I believe, were reserved. Resolution number 2025-80 by Finance and Human Resources Committee establishing parameters for the sale of not to exceed $23 million in general obligation promissory notes, Series 2026A.
All right, separate considerations been made and seconded. Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Executive Committee did review ordinance 2025-72 and recommended and sent to the board, which is on your desk, ordinance 2025-72S with some changes from the original. I would ask that the board consider this at this time. And then I'd like to yield to Supervisor Racine, who was the original author of 72.
Thank you, Vice Chair. So this, hopefully everyone's had a chance to read through this, but really this is just bringing all the committee meetings, the board committee meetings up to the same standard as what we see here. So requiring that all the meetings are streamed. And then obviously there's limitations if there's technical and feasibility staffing issues. There's some leeway here. So the S resolution was brought up because there was a change on page 4, lines 13. Basically what it read was instead of it saying the county clerk's office in cooperation with the county executive, it read the opposite. It said the county executive in cooperation with the county clerk's office. This change is to make it more consistent with what the rest of the language in here is. And there's 2 supervisors I consulted with and thought this was more appropriate than the other way around. There were some changes that this went through in committee, but there are corporation council recommendations. I thought they were excellent recommendations. They trimmed some inconsistencies maybe and remove some language about, there's successor platforms if, there's an issue with YouTube right now. We're going to be streaming these to YouTube, and then YouTube becomes the storage program that we host these videos from. I was talking to Robert a little bit about, what are alternatives if there's an issue with YouTube in the future. This county is going to be storing these locally, so it basically becomes a backup if there's ever an issue with YouTube. And then if YouTube goes down or YouTube no longer hosts county videos, then we look at, an alternative platform, maybe even hosting them in-house. So there's some mechanisms built in to keep this thing moving forward if there is an issue with the streaming service we're using right now. And about does it.
Supervisor Shakur, question?
$570.
I think that's was Supervisor Miller's intention.
Pardon?
I think that was Supervisor Miller's
I
intention.
had a unanimous consent to do just that.
Good job, sir.
Any other questions on 2025-72S? Supervisor Horace?
I was just going to make a comment to commend certainly Supervisor Rossi and Corporation Council and all those involved in helping with put a document like this together, which clarifies a lot of things going forward that, again, for the future is being very proactive, very supportive of all protection of all of the results of the board. So well done and thank you.
Supervisor Caprillion?
Thank you, Supervisor Horace. Thank you for putting those proper accolades out. They definitely are well deserved, and same with the supervisors this evening who will be voting on this. We've opened ourselves up to more access. And as you can see, even this evening, we only have a couple people in the audience, and it doesn't, we're out here and everybody can't always access these meetings, but here we're representing the people. And even when they can't be here, but now we're giving them an opportunity to partake and to witness what's going on, to hear their voices. I can tell you, as sitting here for 10 years, I often don't get to hear the voices of those who elect me, and they're not very well aware of what's going on. And to fill them in, possibly with one phone call, is difficult because we have a lot that goes on in the county. So we're going to now have a record. We're going to have just more transparency. And so Supervisor Rossi, thank you for doing this. I thought when I led the charge back around the pandemic time that more of the committees would follow. It didn't happen, but we have a lot going on. So there's no shame in that, but this was the point, and it really took somebody to lead this. So thank you, Supervisor Rossi.
All right, we have a motion and second on this for ordinance 2025-72S, majority vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. Then we'll move on to resolution 2025-80. Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution establishing parameters for bonding for the behavioral health facility. And we do have online from our financial advisors, PFM, Kristen Hansen. She has a PowerPoint which will go over this and give us some background.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Do you have the PowerPoint that you can see so I can walk through it? I just want to make sure.
Yep, they're getting it loaded up, Kristen.
Okay, I'll be patient. And thank you for letting me call in. I am in Madison at the WCA Legislative Exchange. So I'm going to just talk about the parameters resolution and kind of the process similar to what you've seen before. If you move to slide 2. Thank you. Historically, as you're very aware, you've been discussing the various large capital projects which do include the behavioral health building, which was initially referred to as the mental health building project in the initial resolution. So back in the summer of 2024, you adopted the 4 initial resolutions for the 4 larger projects. And now in 2026, projects proceeds are needed to complete the project. You have been using additional funds that have been available to the county to date. And so based on the construction timeline and the need for funds, you're needing to borrow for the remaining portion of the project. Slide 3 basically shows the kind of this, what we call the sizing. Oops. Thank you. So the total project amount is right around that 37 million. You are applying ARPA funds, so that reduces the amount that you have to borrow for the project. So you do have just over 22 million available for the project in the authorized bonding amount. The borrowing amount not to exceed is 23 million, which was set by the initial resolution, and that's the amount of the parameters resolution. If you do not need those funds, we will be able to reduce the size of the issue at the time of sale. Page 4 talks about kind of the highlighted components of the parameters resolution, similar to what you've seen before for both the CIP borrowing as well as the other projects for which you've borrowed already. The resolution for 23 million general obligation promissory notes series 2026A authorizes your county executive, corporate counsel, or the finance director to accept bids for the financing, provided that certain terms are met. That the principal amount does not exceed that 23 million that was set by the initial resolution, that the principal amounts are substantially the same that are shown on page 5 of the presentation, which is next, that the interest rate, true interest cost rate does not exceed 6%. You may recall that back in the fall, you got under 4%. I suspect, barring any kind of dramatic changes in the market, you will probably see something similar. The interest payments are due on March 1st and September 1st of each year, beginning on March 1st of 2027, which aligns with the interest payments on your existing debt. Principal payments are due on March 1st, beginning March 1st of 2027, and it is a 20-year issue. The 2026 notes will be callable, and we will be determining the call date prior to posting the preliminary official statement. We've often used a 10-year call, which basically says that the maturities maturing, the last 10 maturities of the issue are refinanceable in 10 years. However, the market has allowed us to shorten that call feature and not have any financial penalties. So if we can do that, it makes, another maturity callable. So if market permits down the road in 9 or 10 years, you can refinance the bonds for economic savings. And then as part of the parameters resolution, the finance director must report the sale results to the finance committee and the county board. The next slide just shows where the market has been over the last 10 years. We like to include this just to show you what's been happening. And as you know, the market changes every day. The last couple of days, we've seen interest rates coming down about 0.02, 0.03% across the curve. The next slide is that reference to what the principal and interest payment schedule would be, assuming a 6% interest rate. And then graphically, the bar chart here shows your existing debt service before any issuance. And it also includes the offset of special assessments and any marina fees. So that's what your taxpayers are currently being levied for your existing debt. The next slide shows what those payments would be. The little yellow bars show the proposed 2026A notes. And you will note that there is a gray line. There has been discussion about a possible annual offset of $450,000 to the debt service from opioid funds, assuming a portion of that building qualifies for that use. The next slide just shows something very similar with your mill rate and the offset with the opioid funds. The last slide does show the proposed timeline. When the initial resolution was passed for the project, and then you can see January 21st, the parameters resolution was considered by the Finance and HR Committee. First reading happened at your January 27th board meeting, which brings us to today. The notes will get rated because you were recently went through a rating call back in the fall of 2025. The rating company will be providing questions to Gwen to complete for them to do the rating. And then there will be a due diligence call with Disclosure Council. I'm looking for a rating to be released by February 24th and scheduling a sale for Wednesday, March 4th.
All right. Questions for Kristen or Finance Director Zimmer is here? Any questions or comments? Supervisor Kolb?
I guess my question was, I was under or I interpreted everything that the opioid funds were already okayed to be used for this.
They have not been formally authorized.
When will we find out when that is? And is there varying amounts that it could be, or is it all or nothing?
So about 25% of the building fits the category of eligible use for the opioid funds, and we verified that with WCA and other council that are leading like the compliance for those funds, and discussed it with leadership of this board. And Chairman Kramer's recommendation and desire is that an opioid task force was be put together. That happened about a year ago with Hobato as the chair. We are just now finalizing all of those recommendations. We were supposed to meet a couple weeks ago, and then it was the sub-zero temperatures and the building was closed. So that was rescheduled for March. So we'll be coming back to this board for authorization of the projects and other allocations that came out of that. It can either be a separate resolution or we can include it in the budget, but ultimately we wanted to come with a comprehensive plan of the opioid funds, which would include some of the debt service.
Supervisor Hort?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could we go back to the second, I think it was the second or the third slide? Gwen, I might have just a question for yourself, but let me just see this first. Go to one before that. Okay, here is my question. Thank you. Hold it up there for a moment. We all received an email from the county executive back on the 21st of January that said that the behavioral health building, the projected cost was going to be $36 million. I don't know where this 37 or $1.7 million comes from.
That's the authorized budget for the project, but we are anticipating being under on it. I mean, I don't want to speak on a term because we'll have an update to that budget and that project at the next county board meeting, but we are full steam ahead projecting at least $1 million underspend.
Okay, so okay, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's why, again, that's why these reports are good for us to see.
Yeah.
So what we're saying then is the anticipation is that it'll come in lower than what was originally projected.
Yes, that is the county executive's mandate to the entire project team is come under budget and on time. So that's what the goal that we're working towards.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Supervisor Pritzker?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I missed the January meeting because I was at a Bucks game, but I was there with some municipal bond fund managers, and they, they buy these kinds of bonds that we're issuing, and they suggested whether we need to rate every bond issue. So, because from the buyer standpoint, if you've been rated in the last year or so and nothing substantially changed to how you're operating things,
Right.
it would be technically not rated, but they understand that it's really,
Yeah.
it's really the rating that was previously made. So what is the cost of that? And is there a point where it doesn't make sense to rate every issue? And I
I'm
have
gonna
two other
defer to
questions too.
Kristen
but-
on, yeah, I'm gonna defer to Kristen on that.
Sure. So do you want me to ask one at a time or all the questions?
No,
Is there-
she's still
Okay.
online.
Kristen, did you hear that?
I did hear that. Yes, it is common practice in the industry to get your debt rated when you go to market. I'm only operating on my laptop, but I can look into what that fee would be because you are using the fiscal year 2024 ACFR, you will get a reduced fee for this issue. So lower, because of that, because they already have that credit information. It's the reason why you don't have to have a full-blown credit call. So it is common practice in the industry when you're going out for a competitive sale to have a bond rating and to get your debt rated every time.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I could quickly find the invoice for our last rating, which I'm not, but it's about 20,000.
Okay, okay. That's not very much. Secondly, how much debt is being retired in 2026? I think the number is 0, but is that true, or is there some number that's being paid off this year?
Kristen, do you know that offhand? Otherwise, I can pull up our debt schedule.
I don't have it offhand, but the county does pay off principal on its debt every year on all of its outstanding issues.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
I didn't know if there was some 20-year, 2006 debt that was issued that's rolling off that would sort of absorb some of the new debt we're issuing in 26. I guess then lastly, can this presentation be sent to the full board?
Yes, I've already requested it of the county clerk.
All right, thanks.
And slide 7 does slide 7 of the PowerPoint does show your existing levy supported debt. And so you can see that that you have some debt getting paid off every year because you see the declining payments.
Yeah, it looks like in 2020, from 2025 to 2026, we paid off about 1.8 million, and then 26 to 27, about 300,000, and then 200 and then 500. So on the budget FAQ page, I put our debt service schedule that goes all the way out to 2045. That information is included on there, but I'm also happy to put a memo together for the board if you prefer.
Sure. I know we talked about it during the budget process too, and maybe I'm just not reading it right, but in my mind, I'm thinking if we know what our debt capacity is and we divide it by 20 years and we're taking out the same amount roughly every year, the net change shouldn't be that much. It should basically be what's being paid off plus inflation, I guess.
Yeah, we're taking on more debt in the last
Oh, yeah.
7 to 8 years than we did previously. We used to bond around 5 to 6 billion, and then it was the appetite of leadership in the board to do 8, 9, 10. We did 14 this year, 15 the year before. So
Right.
it has creeped up.
So that makes it look dramatic because
Yeah.
if we should have all along been borrowing 11 million a year just for roads alone, and we were borrowing way less than that, then this seems like a big shock.
Right. And in preparation of this, in the 2024 budget, we did call about 2 to 3 million. I'd have to go back and look at the resolution to prepay, and it was going to impact the 2026 levy because we knew that we were going to be doing some of these bigger things. We wanted to get that principal down before these started hitting the levy.
Right. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Comments? Not, motion been made and seconded for resolution 2025-80, voice majority vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Gwen. All right, item number 13, reconsideration of resolutions and ordinances from previous meetings and or action on vetoes.
There are no items.
Item number 14, reconsideration of and or notice of intent to reconsider resolution and ordinances.
There is no notice.
Item number 15, informational reports.
Report number 2025-61 by Finance and Human Resources Committee submitting an investment report for the fourth quarter year 2025 by the Racine County Finance Director, and report number 2025-62 by Finance and Human Resources Committee announcing the distribution of sales and use tax revenue for January 2026.
All right. Item number 16, miscellaneous business announcements and oral reports.
Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Hort.
Thank you. First of all, back on those two informational reports, unless I missed it, which is very possible, there was no schedule attached to it that gave us the information. It says, look at Schedule A, I believe it was, and that did not come through on the emails that I received. So I'd be interested in seeing what those informational reports actually look like. All I received was the resolution words.
Okay. I think we can get that to you.
And two other items I had here. One, the Racine County Facilities Report that we received. This, by the way, is very helpful. And it's nice to see where some of these capital projects are standing. The one thing I would recommend is that we consider putting our current status on the expense situation on where we're at. It doesn't show it on this report, but I did see another report where it shows it. So if that's possible, it'll be one more item that we can help hopefully answer questions before they get asked as to how these projects are progressing and where the money actually stands. And the last thing I wanted to offer was today, and I didn't find out about this until late today, so I missed it, but today there was a webinar regarding data centers. And obviously we have a fair amount of activity going on in our backyard. I might recommend that if, by the way, somebody very well may have sat in on those webinars because they were open to the public. I don't know, but it is something that I would certainly encourage a member of the staff or someone to become educated a little bit more on what's being discussed regarding this. Because obviously the two big issues are, one is water, the other is the energy cost. And today was a big topic of the biggest topic was apparently the energy costs that are associated with these. So it would be helpful if someone had sat in on that so we could hear more specifically what's being discussed at that level and not going through the sources, unfortunately, that we're hearing it through, which too often aren't accurate. So I just wanted to make that observation, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Capillion.
Thank you. We're coming up next week to interview our next round of youth and governance reps. And I think that's a good reminder to the mentors right now who have mentees to reach out, check in, see how they're doing. And just know for government services, you have 2 days next week that you are hopefully committed to and on your calendar. For Wednesday and Thursday, starting at 6:15, we're going to be behind this chambers in the room, just right behind here. So thank you for supervisors who have already read through the interviews, or just all of them, who have done that, because it's quite the commitment. And again, reach out if you have questions or are having issues with getting a hold of your mentees. That's it. Thanks.
All right. Adjourned, sir. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.